Hello everyone, and welcome back to the dojo. I am your sensei, Eljay.
Hi, I'm Meso.
I'm Hayley.
And this is Ninjago Cast, and we are the masters of Podjitsu.
Welcome to the dojo. It's now open, etc.
Hello! Hello!
How's everyone doing? This fine, day is it?
It's
Friday
a Friday.
afternoon.
I'm doing well. I'm tired.
Happy February, everyone.
Happy February 1st! It's great. It's gonna be a good month.
Is it?
So, yes, February is a neat month. A lot of cool things are happening in February.
It actually, yeah,
Yes.
to be fair, it is actually going to be a good month. Wink, wink, some stuff is coming this month. Wink, wink.
It's
There's
also
cool
been short
videos.
months, so us protagonists like short months.
Excuse me? You want to fight?
What?
Sorry, it's a reflex.
Yes. February, Lego Movie 2 and How to Train Your Dragon 3.
Yup.
I'm seeing How to Train Your Dragon 3 tomorrow, and I'm going to cry like a newborn, and it's going to be amazing.
Rip.
Rip me, preemptively. So
And you gotta work. It's gonna be fun.
I gotta work immediately afterwards. I will be mixing drinks with my tears. So.
My goodness.
Alright.
All right.
LJ, what are we up against today?
A lot of things. Many of our lives have several intricate adversities that we all individually face. It's actually quite a struggle for many people in the world.
Where is this headed?
You asked what we're up against today, and it's like, I don't know.
Oh.
Anyway,
But there's one thing that connects all of us, and that is...
The
Bionicle.
power of the green.
Green. Anyway,
This is
yes,
red.
we're gonna be talking about Ninjago episode 97, The Fall. Next week we will talk about Ninjago episode 98, The Winter.
I love it. It's gonna be awesome.
I thought you knew the episode name, and I was like, oh, this is news to me.
I think it's
Nah.
come out.
Wait, it has?
What?
I think so. Let me try
The
to
name?
find it.
Is it called
Keep
The
going.
Rise?
I don't know. Keep going.
Okay. Anyway, so we're gonna go ahead and do a brief recap of the episodes. It starts off where the last one left off. Oh, spoilers for anyone, hoping to watch this on their own. Also, watch it live when it airs. We'll keep you posted on when that happens. So, Okay. Episode starts off where the last one left off. The Oni is talking to, Omega. Is that his name? Omega?
Yes.
Great. Talking to Garmadon and Lloyd, being like, I'm here, and I'm going to kill you all. And they're like, no, you're not. And so Garmadon's like, no. And a fight breaks out. So they're talking, antics ensue. Lloyd is basically a walking green beanbag. He is effectively useless. However, they manage to somehow get a hold of, that's right, the Sword of Sanctuary, otherwise known as the Future. Otherwise known as the Blade of the Script. Lloyd finally gets his hands on it, and it is absolutely useless. It is completely ineffective. But Lloyd manages to smash the Vape Stone, so that Oni cannot get into the realm anymore. Is what they would have liked to have said if that actually worked. Spoiler alert, it did not. So, with that being the case, the two Garmadons end up running, blasting through walls, going, we gotta get out of here! Blast that wall! Oh my gosh, it's confetti! It's paper mache! And, dead end, they've hit bedrock, which is very common in Minecraft. However, they also managed to back themselves into golden armor! That's right, the crossover between the ending of Bionicle Generation 1 and Ninjago is here. Oh, wait, no, sorry, wrong golden armor. It's actually the golden dragon armor. Wait, nope, wrong again. It's actually the golden armor that was made out of the golden weapons that the super evil, awful dude, the Overlord, used in Rebooted, I believe. Bottom line, it's a cool ribcage design, and it's made out of the golden weapons, and the Oni don't like it. Except for Garmadon and Garmadon. They're fine. So, they are repelling the Oni with it. It's like, no, it's like a vampire and a cross. And they manage to finally make their way out, even though Lloyd continues to be the most incompetent he has ever been outside of being a child. Short legs haven't really affected him too badly up until now. even though he has long legs. It's the mentality of short legs, okay? So they make it outside. The vape tendrils are still coming after them. They're running. They're talking to Pixel, who's apparently going to find them. But she's at like 4% of power or fuel or whatever she uses to charge the darn thing. We don't know. It might be diesel. So she's going down. She's trying to go get them into the vape cloud. Meanwhile, the other ninja on the Destiny's bounty, they're going to go get the news people. Because listen, we need the news. Otherwise, we're not going to know anything that happened in the rest of the world. The news people are doing their thing, and they notice the ninja arrived. It's like, hooray, the ninja are here! So they come out. We see the third best character in the show for the first time, but we'll get to him in just a moment. The people are climbing up the ladder. The vape tendrils are coming up through on the sides of the thing, the building. And the ninja are barely getting up. It's Cole and Jay. They're climbing up the ladders. Oh my gosh. Come on. Can you make it? Can you make it? And then Nia's like, ha, die. And Cole's like, what? Cake. Boom. He's blasted off of the ladder. Compatibility. And that was the end of Cole's story. That's it. He's dead, everyone. It finally happened. Nothing has changed. The status quo was kept because Cole never mattered. Listen, I'm going to focus on this for just a little bit as Cole falls in slow motion. The only proper use of slow motion I have seen this season thus far. And he's falling. You can hear cryo shell in the distance. And Jay is going, why do I care? So anyway, he's gone. The ninja are like, wait, we have to go back. And then the other ninja's like, why? Moving on. Down in the cloud, the vape cloud, we see that Pixel is trying her darndest to get to the Garmadon twins. And they have managed to find themselves on a bridge, which is just a bad idea if you're in this kind of a situation. So they are surrounded. The Oni go, hey, we actually like gold now. It doesn't bother us. But then Pixel's like, I'm a sniper in Call of Duty. And picks them both out of the crowd. Ha! Got him! First try. Boom! I see the light! She flies out of the vape cloud and is like, smoking's bad, kids! Uh-oh. Oh no. 1% power. What are we gonna do? Beep, 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 beep. 0% power. They're going down! Oh gosh, what are they gonna do? I wish we had a day with it! They hit the Destiny's bounty. They're okay. Both the Destiny's bounty and the mech, because they're both made out of rubber. So Garmadon's okay, the other Garmadon's okay, everyone's okay, and Lloyd's like, what's going on? Why does everyone look sad? We did it, guys. Hey, wait. It feels less crowded here. Even though there are more people. Do we have more screen time? And the other ninja are like, yeah, we do. Garmadon's like, why do you guys care? You see, in this scene, Garmadon is the audience. And so they determine, screw you, Garmadon. We're going to act all huffy and puffy for some reason. Even the robots are like, we're going to pretend to have feelings. Meanwhile, Garmadon is in a room, looking at a mirror, trying to smile. Don't worry, the recap's almost over, Hayley. Your torture will soon come to an end. So Garmadon is trying to smile. He's practicing. He's like, my pearly whites. He's like, no, I hate smiling. And then we see the third best character in the entire show. That's right, everyone. Get ready for the man, the myth, the legend. It's Vinny. It's Vinny from NGTV News. That's right, everyone. Vinny is here to lay down some sage wisdom. You think Wu was a sensei? Nay, nay. It's Vinny from NGTV News. Vinny! So Vinny's like, hey, man, I'm Vinny. What you got? Hey, old man, it's Garmadon. I'm a big fan. I like the way that you kill people, like my friends and family and all the residents in Ninjago. But, hey, you're cool. I saw you in that movie. And Garmadon's like, that movie never happened. By the way, what is the meaning of life? And Vinny's like, meaning of life is life, yo. Because, you know what? Surviving ain't the only thing that's cool, okay? Just surviving's pretty whack. But if you like other things, like courage and all the things from the Wizard of Oz, and being a friend to people and being awesome, like me, Vinny from NGTV News, then man, you're gonna start loving life. Garmadon's like, word. Meanwhile, back at the bounty, we see Kai and Nia getting some characterization as brother and sister, and they're talking about what to do next. Nia's like, I can't believe I killed a plot device. And Kai's like, anyone could have killed him. It's okay. It could have happened to anyone. It was a simple mistake. Keep in mind, kids, killing someone might be an accident, but mistake is a little bit of a... I wouldn't use it in this situation. So Nia and Kai are talking about what their next plan is, and Nia's like, oh, you're a blacksmith. Let's go ahead and make the golden weapons again and canonize the sanctuary, the Spinjitzu monastery set as the only actual canon set from these 4 episodes. And Kai's like, no. Nia's like, do it. And Kai's like, okay. And the episode ends as we see Cole succumbing to the vape. And that's the end of the episode.
That was your best recap ever.
I know, I really like
I think his Dareth one's better.
3 cheers for that one. Oh my god.
Eljay, I can't tell whether to applaud you or strangle you.
I mean, no
Why not
touching.
both? Strangle with one hand. Like,
And applaud him with it while slapping his head. Oh,
exactly.
Oh, dear lord.
That was a perfect recap.
Thank you.
Yeah. I was gonna make a comment. Before we get into the episode, I found out the name for episode 98. If you don't want to hear it, skip like a minute. Episode name 98, Endings.
Endgame!
Nope, Endings.
Endings?
Endings.
Is Ninjago ending? Oh my
Don't
gosh!
do this! You already got that one guy called out!
Now Ninjago's not ending, it's just endings, which means...
It's like Woo's quote from the trailer.
Oh.
All endings are merely beginnings. No,
Yeah,
wrong
that's
quote.
Woo's quote, alright.
Endings are inevitable. All we can do is fight to make them good ones.
All endings are merely beginnings waiting to
Right.
be born.
Oh,
My
boy.
beginning was much the same.
Does that mean that Ninjago is gonna end? Ninjago is ending.
Yep, we're bringing back Chima. Let's go.
I don't mean Ninjago the show, I mean Ninjago the place.
Maybe.
The
The
background.
theory about them hopping into another realm is true. Oh wait, they
That means,
destroyed the realm crystal.
They're gonna go
They
ahead.
have Firstborn.
They're gonna move
They
to
hop on
Ninja
Firstborn
Stop.
and evacuate. To where?
Ninja Stop.
So anyway,
That took me way too long to get. I was like, wait, like GameStop but for ninjas?
before we start talking about this episode, there's a few miscellaneous points that we should probably address going
Yes.
on in the Ninjago community right now before the actual episode itself. Hayley, you do this. You know, you made a list.
Mm-hmm. Which one's first? I'll just
Maybe.
start with a random one.
The first
What
one.
order
the
did you
first-
put them in the list?
Oh, the order I put it in the list? Well, the first one's the episode, so I guess we're just going to skip that. Okay! Ninjago, March of the Oni has not been released in the US yet, so we are getting promo posters. We've gotten 4 so far for 4 different characters, Cole, Jay, Pixel, and Zane, in that order. And they've progressively gotten, you know, a little
Weirder.
cheerier as it's gone on. Based off of Tommy's tweets from a while ago, just quick one-liners are now being paired per ninja. Cole, one ninja will fall, which we all saw, and if you're like me,
Cared about.
2 was Jay. Was it one ninja will ask the ultimate question or something like that?
Do you like cheese?
And I wonder what that one is. And then one ninjoid will face the darkness alone, aka Pixel, and then one ninjoid will leave his love behind. Zane.
I gotta put these
So
on screen,
the
don't I?
last 2, I
Only like one.
Let me see, maybe... okay, so it's gonna kind of work, everyone. You're gonna see it, but it's gonna be weird. So, there you go.
all right. AOA weirdness. So these are the posters that have been released so far. We got the Zane one today, and we've gotten every other 4 consecutively the day before. We will most likely get more. I'm not sure who would be next, but we're missing
Kai. When ninja must save them all.
I mean, at least Kai has something to do, because everyone, of course, was memeing that one ninja will do nothing and die, and it was... So now he actually has something to do, thank goodness. Dareth
One
will not
ninja
get
will
a
kill her
poster,
friend. Yes.
sorry. Dareth ain't getting a poster, sorry.
You don't
Maybe Vinny will get a poster now. One cameraman will let Garmadon have heart.
Hey, Vinny from
Vinny!
NGTV News!
Someone make that poster. That's too great.
Will Film, please, I
But,
beg of you. I've never asked you
Vinny-
for anything before, but
Vinny gets a poster.
we need a Dareth
for
poster,
saving
please.
Dareth.
I beg of you.
Gives
Yes.
Dareth a
One
heart.
ninja will lay down the sickest beats and dance moves.
As in,
Yes.
like, Garmadon will literally grab Vinny and reach inside of him, like, tear his body open and grab his heart. There you go. The end.
Yikes.
There you go. Ha ha ha. But yeah, so those posters being released, they're really, really great. Tommy is also releasing, like rough doodles of them, which is super, super cool. But yeah, cool posters. They look great.
Yeah.
Like, they look amazing. It's like there's an actual movie coming out, which there is. But it's like a little hype thing for them. Stop snorting. It's fun.
Keep kidding
fun.
yourself. All right.
All right. Next
What's
up,
next?
big news.
Big news!
Big news!
Big
Netflix
news!
has Shh! Major recap. Netflix has updated to include every single season of Ninjago. It's including Day of the Departed, but not the pilots, because the pilots
Not the
aren't
first season.
technically a season.
Not the
Um,
first season. Okay, listen. If that isn't a season, this isn't a season.
That's no.
Yes?
This one's
Listen.
longer.
Completely
What?
irrespective of our dumb debate, it's bizarre that the pilots aren't up on Netflix. It's really bizarre, especially
It is
because they're part of the count. So now we can never say we have the complete Ninjago show on Netflix because you're missing the intro.
Yeah, the first season.
Regardless, although it used to be only up until Possession, and then they added Skybound, Hands of Time, Sons of Garmadon, and Hunted. And
Literally
they-
right as Hayley and I finished watching Possession. We're like, well, we're done with Netflix. 2 days later, I added
they update everything else. That's great. So yeah, go recap, rewatch the whole
Bow,
show. We've got it all
bow.
on. We got it all up on there. It's gonna be great, and they have it in number correct too. Season 1, 2,
Oh
3,
my
4.
God.
So that's
Funny,
Skybound is
that's
season 6,
incorrect.
Time is season 7. No, nope. Netflix is alright. And Day of the Departed is, you may not see it on there because it's its own thing. If you look up Ninjago, you'll see one Day of the Departed. You might not see it because it's a picture of Chen's Noodle House. Don't know why that's the main thing, but that's Day of the Departed. It is now
Why-
under
why
adult
would-
content or adult
I don't
animation.
get it.
So
I don't
No,
understand it.
no, I'm laughing at how it's such a random and arbitrary thing to have for Day
know.
of the Departed.
it's literally in like what 2 episodes where you actually get to see that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so yeah. So Netflix is up to date. Have fun with that, and then
I'll
next
tackle the
point-
next one
Yeah, you
because
take
this
this
is my
one.
this is my field. So
Why is it
every year we
David
have the
Patterson?
3. I don't know.
Hmm?
That's a debate for another day.
Continue.
If there's usually 3 toy fairs every year. There's the London Toy Fair in January, the Nuremberg Toy Fair late January, early February, and the New York Toy Fair mid-February. London happened. Photography wasn't allowed. We heard nothing about the summer releases for Lego. The Nuremberg Toy Fair just wrapped up in Germany, and photography was also not allowed, but press were actually able to go into the toy fair and record their impressions, interviews, and also just general press release style information about the Ninjago sets. Ergo, we can actually discuss the summer wave of Ninjago sets and not have it be leaked, because these sets have been leaked for a while, admittedly, but we've held off from discussing them. The Ninjago summer sets, and keep in mind these might be broken translations, because they are translated from German, I believe, so just taper your expectations. And I'm stalling because the list has disappeared.
Well,
Elder,
to
do
be
you have
fair,
it handy?
this
I
is
have it
good,
handy. I'll be right back.
good time to mention. If you don't want to hear this, you should skip ahead.
Okay. Yes. Hayley, do you have it?
I do have it. Here you go.
Okay. Thank you. So, yes, this is your chance. Skip ahead. Okay, the summer sets are the cold off-road bike.
Which will be discussed further.
We'll get to that. Don't worry. Attack of the Ice Samurai, Fire Snake, Lloyd's Titan Mech, the Desert Glider, and the Ice Age Fortress. Now, people who have gone to the Nuremberg Toy Fair report a few things about this wave. It will involve some kind of Forsaken Emperor or Ice Emperor character, who some people are saying is going to be Zane. Other people are saying it's not going to be Zane, but rather a new character. And an army of ice samurai and or potentially Shadow Ninja. For anyone familiar with Bionicle and the Shadow Toa, add that to the list of things that Ninjago took from Bionicle. Moving on. That's generally the case. No pictures have been released thus far. I would love to tell you to look forward to the New York Toy Fair for pictures of these sets, but if last year was any indication, LEGO won't actually be showing the summer sets at New York Toy Fair. I sincerely hope they've changed their mind on that for 2019, because it was absolutely moronic and killed any kind of interest in that event from people in the online LEGO sphere, but that's a topic for BrickFeed. Point being, those are the sets for the summer. The reason we bring them up in the context of this episode and before the episode itself is because, well, we're gonna address it. We're gonna talk about it later on.
That should probably be
Cole.
the first thing we even talk about, because that's like the biggest thing from this episode.
Let's talk about Cole in the episode.
That's
Do we
just
Hayley?
have to?
Hayley, you are the Cole super fan. Cole is your favorite ninja. You were hyped for him to get a season. How do you think this was handled?
Well, thank you, Tyler, for letting me have the floor first. I think that I think that Cole had a great death. And I say death because it is confirmed. If you watch closely at the very end, he does move a little bit, so he's not dead. But when I say he is dead, or the moment where he dies, that is the moment where the ninja watch their friend die. So to the ninja, he's dead. Kaput. He is he's a pancake on the ground, consumed by Oni. So that moment is so well done. I love the fact that you can't hear them talking because they're all in shock. And sure, he died for the news. I will never forgive them for that. But I think the moment was very well done. I like the moment where it snaps and it's just a full shot of him, a little bit of ladder up in the corner, but then just a whole bunch of just black smoke. So good. And I also predicted the fact that the bounty being wired wrong was going to kill Cole, because that was hinted at in the first episode. And I'm like, that's totally important. That is definitely how they're going to do it. And I was completely right. So yeah, I really liked it. I really, really liked it. I'm excited to see what happens to Cole next episode. And yeah.
One thing I will say about the bounty, I criticized them in the first episode because the bounty was exactly the same, and I felt they made a whole hoopla out of nothing. While I stand by my point that I feel if this was a full wave with a full, story and theme, a full wave of sets to go with the story, we would have gotten a redesigned bounty. I will say that them making it seem like everything was the same, hinting at changes, and then later having those changes kill Cole was well done.
Yeah,
it was
it
creative.
was cool.
It was a good subversion. My problem, well, it's a lot like Jala from Mask of Light, and it's a lot like Zane from Rebooted. This is just like every other death that LEGO has done, sans Matoro and Bionicle, of a big character where they only stay dead for a very, very short amount of time before the audience is tipped off to the fact that they're not actually dead. And that cuts down the impact ever so slightly. And by slightly, I mean majorly. They did not have to have that last scene with Cole in the episode. They didn't. Number one, how did he survive from a fall that height? He is a human. He didn't even do the cool thing I thought he would do, where he would use the momentum to tunnel underground and slow his fall with his lava arms and be like Superman, cave driller guy. They didn't even do that. Instead, he just lands on his back and somehow is still alive because his head moves. And then the fact that they do that, and that shows he's not going to die. If you're into the community whatsoever, the sets show that he's not going to die. He has a bike. He has a Cole off-roader set. And if you have observed people's impressions of the Ice Age temple or whatever, Cole's actually in that set. So there you go. We know he's not going to die. So I kind of have to just kind of look at this retrospective season. This is Cole's season. pardon me for memeing this one final time. Episode 1, his foot's asleep. And at the end of the episode, his foot gets touched by a tentacle. Episode 2, he complains about his foot getting touched by the tentacle. Episode 3, his foot trips and he falls off a ladder. That is his
Foot
season.
didn't trip.
I'm
He
joking.
Murdered him.
This is his season. This is
Yeah.
Cole. Zane's season, deep introspective dive into whether he can feel an emotional connection with someone in his similar situation with Pixel, as well as an amazing self-sacrifice to save his friends. Kai's 2 seasons. First season involves, finding a girl to love in Skylar, realizing that he still harbored feelings of resentment toward Lloyd for being the Green Ninja, which led into wanting to protect Lloyd and possession, coming to terms with that, and also the hinting about his parents. Hands of Time dealt with his parents and his history and his hatred towards them for abandoning him or being villains. Jay's season, deep dive into the power of love, bending the world and the timeline itself because his love for Neo was so strong. Cole's season, foot, fall. No characterization, no introspection, no spotlight, no doing anything cool whatsoever. Could this be redeemed in the last episode by having him do something cool? Yes, but it would undercut the effect of his death if they did that. Because it would undercut the impact of the fall, which I hope they do. The only way to redeem this and make it a good Cole season is if they just kind of, have him get taken over by the Oni, but have him break out of it at the last second when his friends need him, and his strength of will is too strong for the Oni's corruption. Or have him turned evil and be a villain or something. Like the Oni corrupts him. We shall see. Prentice puts it best. It'd be a good Cole season if he ever actually did anything. He was a footnote even in this season, even with his death, which will get immediately undone. Pardon my cynicism. It's just I can't help but feel that way. He was a footnote, exactly. Moreover, I'll say one more thing about this and then I'll stop ranting. My biggest problem isn't actually Cole's fall, because that was a well done scene. It was very well done, and the music and the ninja caring about their friend, it was great. My problem is, why are the ninja so broken up about it? I get why they're upset. I get why they're upset because he's their friend, he's their family. But if you'll permit me to extrapolate upon this, if Cole is dead to the point where he's gone, he's lost, and he cannot be saved, then so is literally everyone in Ninjago. Aren't they attempting to save everyone? Won't destroying or repelling the Oni cure everyone? So yes, they have one less person who can fight the Oni, but with respect to the ninja, their powers don't do anything.
Ty, I think they're referring more to the height that he fell rather than the fact that he became frozen.
Evidently, they shouldn't be concerned about that because he's alive.
Well, but barely. We don't know about his state, but
yeah.
I mean, heck, they probably mainly think because he fell from that height, because they didn't say anything like, "Oh, he'll be fine," like he might still be alive. No, they think that he's gone.
Which brings me to my second problem. I mentioned I was gonna forgive this, but I have to bring it up in the context of this. There's no reason why a fall should be a point of concern for Cole because of, say it with me, audience, 3, 2, 1, Air Jitsu! Yes, I'm totally fine with ignoring Air Jitsu because they want to do cool action scenes and creative stuff. And Sons of Garmadon, when they had that epic chase with Mr. E where they had to jump on everything, that was awesome. And even though it made no sense because they could have just flown up and beat him, I could forgive it because it was in service of a dramatic, action scene. It is borderline unforgivable for a ninja who knows Air Jitsu to have a presumed death by fall damage that directly undercuts all of possession and Skybound and Hands of Time. That whole trilogy where they used air jutsu, that's null and void now. Because a character death is more important than anything that happened in those 3 respective trilogies. Killing or having the presumed death of one of the core casted characters is a big deal. So I can't get over the fact that it should be impossible. And with you could say, what about the dragons? With the dragons, your mental state needs to be there. You have to be calm. You have to overcome everything. Cole's freaking out as he's falling. He's panicking. He probably couldn't use his dragon, which I get. I respect that. It's all about the air jutsu. To me, it does not make any sense, especially because Nia had rocketed off yet. You could say, oh, even if he used air jutsu, that would just be vertical momentum. He couldn't actually catch up to the bounty. But Nia was still there. She was still levitating then. So, number one, it does not make any sense that they would think Cole would be dead by the Oni stuff, because they're working to save everyone. They're working to unpetrify everyone. If they save everyone and defeat the Oni, Cole's saved too. Number two, it makes no sense that they would assume that he was dead by fall damage, or rather, to put it differently, it would make no sense that Cole would not save himself. Why he would let himself die by fall damage. Those are my reasons why it makes no sense. Well acted, well composed, just it does not hold up under any kind of scrutiny, either in universe or meta.
I think this is the kind of episode and this is the kind of season that is really excellent in a vacuum.
Yes.
It's really good on its own, and I can see the merit in judging it on its own. Unfortunately, I feel that it can only be judged on its own, because otherwise, like you just said, it kind of falls apart under scrutiny.
Yeah. And it sucks, because it's a movie special season thing. I would totally love to judge it on its own, and I could even. I seriously could. It's the first one written solely by Braggy Shoot. He co-wrote Hunted with the Hagman brothers. And it's acting as a special standalone movie thing. Except for the fact that they're billing it also as the 100th episode, season 10 celebration, a culmination of all that has come prior. Celebrate our past, remember our past, accept the parts that are inconvenient to the narrative you're trying to tell.
Well, I mean,
I don't mean to
Garmadon
sound disrespectful.
And Hunted also had moments where air jutsu would have been great to have, like Lloyd falling on with a Samurai X suit with Rumi. That could have been great if he had air jutsu. Stuff on the dragon, when they're flying the dragons, they could have,
That's why I mentioned the Mr. E thing.
So there are great moments where they could have used air jutsu, but they have made the decision not to use it at all.
Now,
period, for like these 3. Which, I mean, if they used it once, fair, but they haven't used it for this trilogy, and they're probably not going to permanently, which I'm totally cool with, because there is stuff that happens off camera for the ninja. Heck, the Ultra Dragon was off camera. That was finally explained. So there might be things.
That only goes so far.
I mean, it only goes so. I completely understand. But, the Tornado of Creation is another one of those. There's the Elemental Blades that vanished. Like, there's a lot of things in Ninjago that are really nice to have, but they eventually just lose it.
Well, I love to make allowances, and I'm perfectly willing. You never hear me complaining about the Tornado of Creation and why they don't use that, because I get that was a thing from an early part of the show. They didn't know how long it was going to go for, and eventually when they realized that Ninjago was going to last way longer, obviously if they had their ninja be super overpowered, they couldn't use it. I forgive that once. Especially if it's just a plot device that lets the ninja do cool stuff. I'm more reluctant to forgive it the more times they do it. But even then, it's like you said. There were times in the past 2 seasons where air jutsu would have been useful and they didn't use it. And I even forgave that. I joked about it, like when they had to catapult Lloyd up onto the ship. But I get it. They're doing creative stuff. They're doing cool action scenes. It's in service of a good moment. If they used air jutsu, that moment would have been boring. I can't forgive it for the death of a ninja who's been there for 8 years, because that is too big of a moment. That's too it's too much. Basically, it's not a cool action scene. They're not trying to get creative. He dies because he can't fly. Basically, he's a human who falls from a ladder and he dies. Except he's not. He's a dude who can fly 2 ways.
Well, not with the fist. You can't do it with the fist. Wait,
He can fly with a dragon, or he can fly with air jitsu. Knock out the dragon because of angst and panic. Sure, that leaves air jitsu.
Now, to be fair,
I can't.
I don't know how an air jitsu really works. Evershadow V11 or VII, I guess. I don't really remember what that is. Roman numerals off the top of my head are not a strong point for me. They ask in the YouTube live chat, he was panicking, so he couldn't focus on air jitsuing? Question mark? Is that possible?
That's why the dragon wouldn't work.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm sure that if you hand wave it, that is a way you could hand wave it. He cannot focus his skills. So if Braggy Shoot wants to say something on Twitter, Tommy Anderson would like to clarify that. That's an acceptable thing. I could make the counterpoint that that's just because that's the way they're writing it, but fair. That's a caveat because they never fully established all the ins and outs of air jitsu.
Well, what if you forget about it? You forget it's been a little while, you would say. Probably.
I see what you're suggesting, but
hasn't
it's equivalent to forgetting how to do spin jitsu.
Well, they've done it so many times. I mean, they only started doing air jitsu, then they
It
stopped
reminds
doing it for
me
the
of a
last 2
video
seasons.
I saw a while ago with someone saying, there's plot holes in stories, and you should just accept them because humans are by definition not logical. They're like emotional people, and if everyone made the logical decision all the time, then that would make stories boring. But the reason I disagree with that so strongly is because to me, a story involves everyone, all different characters, acting in accordance with their own values, their own skills, their own minds, and the scenarios pointed to them challenge them, and they have to figure out how to overcome them. To me, utilizing... I never liked it when the ninja had their powers taken away, or why they explained why they couldn't do, blank. But at least they did explain why. There were reasons given. If they had given a reason ever why they didn't use air jitsu anymore, and they totally could have, they're not averse to doing weird stuff, like how they just introduced Ronin out of the blue from a game that he was semi-canon in, but apparently they'd met him on a prior adventure that they didn't fill the audience in on. That was shaky. That was pushing the boundaries of what's acceptable or not. But it worked. And by the end of the episode, I didn't care anymore because Ronin was cool. And you know what? I bought into it. Just hand wave a line about, we did something a while back and our air jitsu hasn't been working since. Oh well, at least we've still been training. And we've got our spin jitsu's doing good. Boom. 8 seconds of dialogue would save having the showrunners having to listen to 20 minutes of a schmuck like me ramble on about how their show doesn't make any sense. It would save you so much grief.
Now, very briefly, to add on to what I mentioned earlier about Evershadow's comment, Cubic in a live YouTube chat also said that they can do air jitsu while panicking, as there's a scene from Possession where Kai is literally screaming out of fear and manages to fly away via air jitsu.
Epic!
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I didn't want to mention it earlier, but there is a moment where Cole, the first time he air jitsus, after barely knowing how to do it, he is panicking and he makes it.
why didn't you want to mention that, Hayley?
Well,
Why do you want to mention that, huh? There,
I don't know.
there.
I don't know.
That just slipped your mind? You didn't
I slipped my mind for a second.
didn't remember to bring it up during a pivotal point in our conversation? Huh?
It's like the marriage thing again, so
Huh?
it's fun.
You know
Oh,
who I
yeah.
bet can do air jitsu? Huh? You know? Vinny
Don't say it. Oh dear lord.
and Dareth.
Vinny.
Well, Ninjago isn't perfect, and we all know this.
No.
I can just bring up and take out the timeline for you all to see that Ninjago doesn't really, they don't have a strong core when it comes to things like that, mainly because the show is so sporadic. They never knew how long they were going to do stuff, and So
And to
it's
clarify,
not, yeah.
if any of the
So-
showrunners are watching this
Yeah.
is a phenomenal episode.
Yeah.
My
Oh,
problem
no, it
is
was a fantastic,
I have to call out the stuff that
Yeah.
doesn't make sense, because if I accept it, then I'm basically admitting that I don't care about internal consistency in stories. And honestly, I've seen
hmm
phenomenal work from Ninjago in the story department, especially recently. It's only getting better in recent years. And I think the writing for this special has been phenomenal so far. But if I accept things that aren't, then I'm basically discouraging a drive to do better. And
Yeah.
I know that it can be better. I've
I
seen
mean,
it.
one major thing, Braggy Shoot, the new writer, he might not know the ins and out of air jitsu. That might be one thing. I'm sure he
No.
might know it exists, but that is.
I don't hold Braggy accountable for this. This is a Hagman created problem. Because they were still writing for Sons of Garmadon when they made the conscious choice to phase their jitsu out. There were Twitter quotes that were actually posted earlier in the Ninjago subchat in our Patreon, which, Eljay, if you could throw those up, I'm going to get you a link in a moment, because pardon my mouse scrolling, I'm looking for it. Because we were talking about air jitsu earlier. There were two pivotal quotes. One of which was the Hagman saying, "You guys are reading too much into my glib comments. The ninjas still know air jitsu. We just opted for a more grounded tone. If you look at their elemental powers this year, you see they often harness the element around them." Basically implying air jitsu was too crazy, and they wanted a more grounded, kind of realistic ninja martial arts kind of a vibe for Sons of Garmadon, which I can get behind. I can. It's just when the plot puts it into a weird situation that I cannot.
And Prentice did say, although if you're now a writer in a long-running show, wouldn't you want to do some research, know the powers your characters can use in canon and so forth? Yeah, I'm sure he knows, about the tornado of creation and elemental weapons and all that. But he was put into an awkward situation where he had to write the death of a character, and also with the rule of no air jitsu can be used. So it was just like it was, I mean, there's no really other way they could have killed Cole without making it graphic, without him falling into a poof of cloud and kind of vanishing from sight. So it's just an unfortunate occurrence where this all kind of folded on itself. I don't think they meant to do this, for the fact that a character would quote unquote die because of lack of air jitsu.
That's why I'm being careful to say, I don't put the blame on Braggy's shoulders. This was a problem creatively from the inception of this trilogy. Their decision to not have a line explaining why they can't do air jitsu, it was fine for a while. But the other shoe has dropped with it to the point where I can't I can't write it off. Only because it would have been so easy to hand wave. But that's all. Yeah, that's all I have to say on it.
So lack of air jitsu kind of puts a damp on Cole's death, but it was still a great moment. Take away the fact that they know air jitsu, and it's absolutely phenomenal. And it's a great character moment for all of those ninja, which Tyler doesn't agree with.
No,
he should have been the one to grab the wheel. But
Jay, we were just talking about it, and she was like, "It was awesome," and I was like, "I agree, it was a good scene." But if I had to look at Cole, the one thing I could say about Cole is his friendship with Jay was great. His friendship with Jay was awesome. Cole and Jay, buddies to the end, endless quipping, a well-told friendship story. And yet Jay doesn't really get a point of view in this episode. He screams Cole's name, but Kai and Nia have their emotional talk. Zane's apparently coping so badly he's of no use to the plan. But Jay doesn't really do anything. He says it's not Nia's fault, but he's not really shown to be that upset. He has one scene of looking grief-stricken, and then the next scene he's flailing for his life on the ladder, and then he comforts Nia, and then he's gone. So maybe next episode.
But I rewatched that scene so many times, and I just love each of the ninjas' reactions, because Nia did not know what she had done until the moment that kind of Zane looked up at her, and then she kind of put two and two together.
That was really well done.
Immediately, he pointing down at the cloud, that didn't just happen, and then turning around to grab the wheel is such a Kai moment. And Zane somehow having the logic to know not to turn back in that moment of panic. Jay didn't move. that entire time, Jay did not move from the ladder, which he was in such a state of shock that he's lucky he held on. And then, of course, all the other like people are just in shock, not kind of realizing what just happened, but kind of realizing what just happened, but not to the ninja. It was such a beautiful moment. And what I love is that you don't even need to hear the dialogue to know what they're all saying, which is great.
I'll agree there. I would have rather,
is so
personally,
good.
from an editing perspective, I would have rather heard their dialogue. We were talking about this too. I like it when characters, I can actually hear them rather than the music playing. I feel that's kind of cliche. But what I will say is it's a strength of Ninjago's characters that you don't need to hear what they're saying. That I will admit. It was really well done. And the character interplay, as you point out, are very true.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, so Cole's death, I give it a thumbs up.
Elj, what'd you think?
He's still muted.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Oh, he's back.
I'm sorry. I'm eating. Listen, man. I'm a hungry hippo. Anyway, yes, as much as I like to... Excuse me?
Nothing. Keep going.
Put down, student. Anyway, as much as I like to give the show a lot of grief about Cole, this was a very well executed scene. I know I joked about it earlier on, but it was very well done. I think that the handling was really good. Will Film does an absolutely spectacular job animating, and so it was a very nice looking scene. Is, I think, brilliantly executed. I obviously don't like it as much as Zane's. I have yet to see one top Zane's, but this comes very, very close. They did a really good job. I don't think it could have been done any better.
I think, I mean, the scene in itself is great for what it is. Taking the air jutsu debacle out of the equation and the final scene, which I feel kind of ruined it. It is a great scene by itself. The composition is on point. The acting is great. Cinematography perfect. The best thing ever, and the thing which when we watched it, I just bust out into uncontrollable laughter, was Nia killing Cole by doing that. The memeage was instantaneous. I think I said within like 10 seconds, perfectly compatible, Hayley. Perfectly compatible.
She didn't know what she was doing.
That's perfect. Yes, they're bound by fate. Perfectly compatible. She doesn't need to know. Every murderer needs a victim. Come on. What are they? Yin and yang.
I hope you don't get tired of this, Hayley. But I'm also going to join in.
Close earlier.
Hey, Nia, what's your favorite breakfast food? Pancakes?
Oh my god. It was hilarious.
Hey, Cole, what's your favorite song? Gravity Hurts?
Oh, Hayley's a grief
We
stricken.
built this city of rock and coal.
Yes.
Which technically the city killed Cole. Because they
great
wired the
because-
ship wrong.
Hayley and I were in a private call, and I said that, and then 3 minutes later, Prentice said that. And it was great. So double shout out. But yes, as much as I like to meme it, because it was absolutely hilarious, Nia's grief was very well done. She had 3 scenes, and it was, all 3 of them were perfect.
Oh yeah. Well,
Doc,
I
talking to Lloyd, and then right at the end.
I love how impacted she is because she, of course, is going to think it's her fault. I mean, anyone in her situation, even if it was like Zane or Pixel, they're going to feel guilt that it was her fault, even though it technically wasn't. But for someone who can't give up, for someone who gives up easily, having the weight of killing your best friend on you, that's hard. You can't give that up. And
Nope.
She can't handle that properly. So this is very hard for her. Very, very hard for her.
What I like
Zane
most
probably
about
would have brushed it off, but
Yeah.
I mean,
What I like most about it is because it's such a short movie special, only 4 episodes, they had to balance actually showing the grief and also getting the plot along. And I think they did it masterfully. Like, there was just enough in there. Just enough that you feel the weight, and then by the end, she's devised a plan, and they're back on the... Perfectly paced.
Which is great because that's why Kai was in there. Kai was the one who did it. Not only was he the sibling who had the right words for it, he was also the key for Nia's plan, which we'll get to.
Yeah. That's like, I'm saving that because that's my favorite thing about the episode. But
yeah. So that was a very well done scene. Like the cinematography was on point for that, and voice acting. Oh my gosh, Vincent Song and Kelly Metzger. Goodness gracious, you two.
Kelly was great. I feel like she did better in this episode than that scene that everyone hypes up in Haunted. Like, this episode was great.
That was a very good one, but this one you could really, and it was longer. It was softer.
Yep.
So good. So.
Can we talk about who this season really belongs to? Garmadon.
I thought you were going to say Vinny, and I was not going. I was not going to take that well.
Oh my God, Vinny's great. We'll get to him though. Garmadon. This is a good season for Garmadon. Not only is he the best he's ever been, I think, balanced between comedy, snark, action scenes, and heart, but his arc that he's going through feels very good and very natural as a result of circumstance. He's like equal parts threatening, menacing, fearsome, which original Garmadon never was, but he also has those bits of humanity and relatability and comedy peeking through, which OG Garmadon had, but they were amped up to like cartoonish levels. You know? Garmadon is back, baby! Never forget. You'd never catch this Garmadon saying something like that, but instead he has genuinely funny moments. He's great. He's awesome. Best part of the whole season.
He's great.
Now, Vinny giving him his character development was admittedly a little weird.
Vinny's just a part of it.
You don't understand.
His
First of all,
character development.
Cole has nothing to do with Garmadon. Cole has not affected Garmadon whatsoever.
No. Oh, 100%. 100%. Oh, you can't say that. Why did Garmadon ask Vinny, why is there more to survival?
Because he got snapped at by his son.
Yeah, because Lloyd was upset because Garmadon was mad or thinking that they should just brush off that Cole had died.
Yeah.
And
that's my
him. So yes,
that's my point.
Cole has led to this.
Yeah,
Cole
narratively Cole
leads
led to it, but I'm talking about actually Cole means nothing to Garmadon. Garmadon is not asking because he's going, man, I really like that Cole kid. I should have baked him a cake one of these days. That's not like.
But you think Cole could have been anybody?
Yeah, it could have been anyone. It doesn't matter to Garmadon.
Gail Gossip could have fallen off the ship, and Lloyd could have felt guilty that they let Gail Gossip die, and gotten pissed at Garmadon for wanting to move on.
That should have happened.
No.
I'll give Dareth something to do. Finally, after how many seasons?
First of all,
all of them.
I will kick you out of my dojo. Make no mistake. That is blasphemy here. Second of all, we've been a cameraman as long as Vinny has. You've seen some things, okay? You learn a lot of life lessons very quickly. Because what better way to see the world than through the eyes of a camera? And to show the world what the world is like. You really start to learn a lot of important, valuable things on the street. And Vinny, he's seen some stuff, okay? He's seen so many crises and disasters. He knows what's going on. He knows what to value in life because he is in the midst of everything that happens in Ninjago as their most reliable cameraman. So he is just the person that needs to be here. There is no better person in this show than Vinny to be there to consult with Garmadon. Or console Garmadon, or whatever. Basically, he's giving advice to Garmadon because he is the only man that can.
All right.
Eljay, you need to cosplay as Vinny.
Yes, you do. Make this a new thing. Get Vinny his epicness.
First of all, no. Second of all, if I'm going to go as anyone, it's either going to be Jay Kai or the best character in Ninjago, Dareth.
If you go as Dareth, you will become legend.
You will.
And you attributed a Destiny quote to that, so I immediately don't want to.
You will become legend.
I'll stick with either.
I didn't even mean to do that.
Yeah. Just like Nia didn't mean to kill her most compatible ninja friend.
Every murder needs a victim. Compatibility.
Yeah, Vinny has been around.
That's what I was saying.
Listen.
No, even in the show.
Yeah, I know.
On the one hand, the scene with Vinny and Garmadon was hilariously voice acted, put together. Garmadon's lines to him just made me bust out in laughter. It was a great scene. On the other hand, it's kind of weird. I felt the same way about it as I did with a Chop and Kapow in Tournament of Elements. Just these prolonged scenes with people who really have no place. Like, it almost feels like there's a meta joke I'm missing, like it's a cameo from someone who they're like being sneaky about, you know what I mean? Like, oh, well, this is real funny. We'll put like one of the animators in here as Vinny, but that might not be the case. They might have just felt it would work better narratively if it was a stranger and they decided to be hilarious about it.
I agree.
He is the streets. He is Ninjago.
What? You may go, Vinny from NGC TV.
Word up, yo!
Perfect. Yeah.
He's great.
Lloyd and Garmadon in the vape smoke.
Ooh, let's talk about the realm room or all those
The relic
awesome
room?
relics.
The
Yes.
cameo room. Perfect.
Yes.
What all was in there, Hayley? Have you gone back and rewatched it?
I haven't had time to rewatch it, but the stuff that I did catch, of course, the first thing was the Sword of Sanctuary, which
I didn't see it there.
good job, Lloyd. You don't know how to use it, even though someone who was possessing your body used it perfectly. You still don't have
Muscle memory.
So that was the first thing, which he used to destroy the rum crystal, and then it started going through. And stuff that I caught were the serpentine staffs, which are in there for some reason. I think I saw Dogshank's armor. We saw Yang's portrait at one point. And of course the golden armor. What else was in there? Ooh,
Yang's painting.
yeah,
She
Yang's
mentioned that.
portrait.
Sorry.
You should have been.
Hayley,
But
I
yeah,
have
so a lot of
question.
cool stuff. But why was
Does-
Yang's portrait in there? But-
Does Dark Island explain at all why Dogshank's armor would be in there?
Tell
I
us
think-
Greg's wisdom.
Please. Please enlighten us.
I think Dogshank was in that season.
Please.
I haven't read the first two in so long. But
I want to see what would happen if Greg wrote a season.
he
That'd
did.
be awesome.
No, an actual
Dark
season of the
Island,
show,
Oh my gosh.
not a book series.
Well, I mean, they had a chance, but they hired Braggy Shoot.
Indeed. Because, yeah, that perplexed me, like, why Dogshank's armor would be in there. Another thing that perplexed me was the serpentine staffs, because wouldn't those be with the serpentine
Last time they
underground?
Well, the serpentine got trapped, so maybe they gave them up for some reason?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe they wanted to just be done with it. I could buy that.
But
It's too big a deal.
I honestly can't remember.
Combing through the pages.
Because
Either way.
they fought the pirates in Dark Island, so she might have been in it.
That's
I
what I
think.
was thinking.
Yeah. So that's probably why.
See, my
But yeah,
question is
so
though, where's our Bionicle cameo, guys? Why wasn't it there?
Agree.
Why didn't they could have put a mirror in there? Just a giant, shiny, golden mirror just floating in one of these cages. And I think at that point, that'd be it. I could die happy.
sorry, LJ, I'll never die happy then.
Oh, okay. Well, you know who didn't die happy either? Cole.
Because he didn't die at all.
Yeah. Jinx.
Um,
But yeah, it was a really cool scene. At least we got a callback to some of the fun stuff that was left behind.
well, the greatest thing ever is the golden armor.
Yes.
The golden master armor. Because I never once gave that any thought past rebooted. And I realized that earlier today when that happened. I was like, where is that a plot hole? How could this be here? I thought I got destroyed. And then I realized I'd never given any thought to the fact that it even could be destroyed. Of course not. Of course, Zane's Ice Blast wouldn't destroy the elemental golden armor weapons.
Well, we got hinted at that in season 4. At the very beginning, when Lloyd was going after the golden armor, he finally went for it, and when it was what was it called? Not a halo. Hologram. Close. A hologram. He asked Borg, "Where is the real thing?" And Borg's like, "It's tucked away. Hopefully, no one will ever find it."
Yeah. See, so we just rewatched that season, and I forgot that scene happened.
Yeah.
It was such like a point that just never got brought up again. It's genius that they're reusing it, and more just than reusing it, they're actually fixing one of Ninjago's worst things ever, which was melding the 4 amazing, personalized, iconic start of the theme golden weapons.
We move on to that.
Into the plot hole Armageddon that was the mega weapon. No more. Let's talk about that.
Yes! It's full circle, everyone. The 100th episode, we're gonna see Kai forge a perfect weapon. And it's going to be great. Amazing. If he doesn't say the line, "To forge a perfect weapon, you'll need the right metal and plenty of heat," it's going to be a waste.
I'm sure they'll do it.
It's amazing. They're coming completely full circle. My question is, are they going to forge the Scythe of Quakes? If they reforge them. So
they'll probably do it out of honor to Cole, and then they will have Nia wield it. Probably.
Okay. That's okay.
Why not?
The Scythe of Waves. I don't know. It's an Earth thing.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure it'll have the powers, but point being, they need someone to use it, and then they'll give it
his own weapon.
I'm just saying that it'll be her or Pixel, Otherwise, it's just gonna sit around. Somebody needs to carry it. Because if we're assuming that the monastery set is gonna be canon, because the ninja have their golden weapons, Cole's in that set, and he has the scythe. So, yeah.
So, now, who mentioned it earlier? Way back in the Ninjago chat, someone mentioned it. It might have been Dork Takanuva or crap. Someone did. I have to check. But they mentioned that the weapons were first forged at the Temple of Light.
Mm-hmm.
That is incorrect. It was
Golden Peaks
at the Golden Peaks.
Plot hole.
Which I'm totally cool with. Once again, they he might have messaged or talked to the Hagwins like, "Crap, where do they forge it?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, probably Temple of Fire." And I mean, it was only mentioned once, like offhandedly in the entire show.
Mentioned once, but they also actually went to the location.
Yeah.
It's kind of a big thing to omit.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer it because the Temple of Light is cool and the Golden Peaks is forgettable, but still worth mentioning.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. I loved everything about that, including the fact that it's going to give Kai something to do. Not just something, but the most important thing he's ever done.
Mm-hmm.
It's incredible.
This is a big moment. This is a very big moment for Kai, which means that all the ninja are going to have a little moment, except... Does Zane get a moment?
He'll have to let go of his love, whatever that means, which
means that all the ninja have something to do. That means all the ninja have something to do!
Magic Ninja says actually the gold came from the Golden Peaks. They were then forged in the Temple of Light.
Huh.
I can buy that. That's good enough.
Buy that. I'm not sure where they say that, but
Nor am I.
Forged in the Temple of Light. Where do they say that?
Real briefly, I'll take this pause to point out a comment. I like this comment a lot in the YouTube live chat from Cubic. Eljay. Liwa should have teleported into the room wearing a Kanohi Olmec and then picked up Cole and brought him to safety, all while being voiced by, of course, Eljay Johnson. And
of course.
That is absolutely what should have happened. I 100% agree with you. I think that would have... I mean, listen, at that point, I might as well be contractually obligated to buy every single Ninjago set after that. It's just... Okay. I like it. I just want to put that out there.
Perfect.
Floating in the air, in the ether.
If Tommy Andreessen is listening, please do something with Bionicle so Eljay has to buy every single Ninjago set.
He'll do it. He's crazy.
I am. I'll do it. I'm crazy.
Now, I want to issue a challenge to all of you, including potentially Tommy Andreessen, either one.
I've heard him say it's
Beside this,
Anderson, but I digress.
There you go. Someone may have incorrectly quoted you in our Patreon Discord, or maybe correctly, I don't know, by saying you once said that they're not using air jitsu because they're using more powerful forms of spinjitzu. No one was able to provide a source for that. If anyone in the comments could potentially say, yes, I remember that. What? But I'm doing it in service of a joke.
Okay.
So, Eljay, I want you to put this GIF up on the screen.
Okay.
And let us all revel in the ninja's amazing, more powerful spinjitzu. As well as our main character being truly the hero that we need him to be.
You gotta post the other one. If you can post that one, you gotta post the other one.
Hang on, guys.
Garmadon.
Relax.
The one with Rumi.
Yeah, or this incredible use of their
One
advanced, powerful
GIF
spinjitzu.
at a time. So first of all, here's a GIF of Lloyd being beanbagged into the wall. And then secondly, here's the GIF of Lloyd
Lightly tapping someone.
getting the equivalent of a Beyblade second gear kind of a deal. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Beyblades, but in some of them they had this little motor. It was a 2-function motor, so you'd spin it and it'd be going fast, and all of a sudden it'd rev up even faster, so you can like hit enemy Beyblades and just smack them around. That's the equivalent of this.
So I'd be very interested in knowing that quote because, I mean, looking at these GIFs, I think I'm actually won over. I think my prior criticisms are null and void. And I totally get why they'd stop using Injitsu for this amazing, useful spinjitsu.
Facetious.
I mean, technically, Zane froze Ultraviolet solid with his using his spinjitsu.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just memeing because of the presentation. The Hagman's way of demonstrating it by saying the elemental powers were more intrinsically tied. That's cool. Every time they use their elements with spinjitzu, it looks awesome, and it's interesting from a fight perspective. I just find it funny because I remember back when they introduced spinjitzu, and it was all about moving so fast, a whirlwind of motion, and they showed like Jay, I think, inside of the tornado, fighting the Skulkin in that one episode. I could be wrong. And that kind of makes sense, like how that seemed to have realistically played out. Lloyd tries to spinjitzu Omega, have a slow-mo being instead it's just like this amorphous, solid Beyblade energy shtick. Still cool though. Hey, I'm just joking around. This isn't like legitimate.
Obviously, this is meant to show the strength of Omega and the Oni as a whole.
Obviously.
Oh yeah.
It's just that Lloyd is completely useless, and he has been this whole season.
Yeah.
He can't do anything.
Well, at least with the past 2 seasons when it's all been his fault or his victory.
There you go.
At least he's being balanced out by these new big enemies that I apparently can stop. I can't do diddly squat against.
Karmic seesaw.
Yeah.
2 seasons of victories, 1 season of uselessness.
That's not a seesaw, Meso. That's obviously
if the
weighted.
karmic seesaw works, then Cole's gonna get something pretty epic happen to him.
You're right.
After 9-10 seasons of nothing, he will
Maybe
get
in the
something.
summer he'll get his cool off-road bike.
A karmic seesaw T-shirt. That's a great idea.
Yes.
I will
purple
fight
right on
tooth and nail and get fired again to prevent that from coming into this
karmic
world.
seesaw versus Lux Switch. What team are you on?
Don't drag
Civil
my
War.
luck switch to the low levels of your sewer inhabiting seesaw.
It's not my fault you didn't pick the right philosophy.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh, it's not a philosophy, it is a technique, and your philosophy doesn't exist. It's like you took Karma and wrapped it in a new skin so it doesn't look exactly like you copied Karma. It's like you talked to Karma and were like, hey, can I copy your homework? And Karma was like, yeah, just change it a little bit so no one notices.
Wow.
You made it a seesaw.
Karma. I like Insta Karma better. Which is kind of
Insta-Karma's
karmic
fun.
seesaw. but with time included.
Last thing, who is gonna die? Because if Cole's not gonna die, if nobody dies, then this whole advertising campaign will feel a bit.
Time.
It will feel a bit. What's the word I'm looking for? Not dishonest. Not dishonest,
Misleading.
but a bit misleading. This whole grim tone about endings and one ninja must fall. So someone's got to bite the bullet. What do you think, Kayla?
Pixel.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I don't know when. I don't know what the things is going to be, but I think it's going to be Pixel. If not Pixel, then nobody. We're not going to get... Because I think, actually, who's going to die? It's not really a who, it's going to be a place. Ninjago is going to be lost. The ninja will have to evacuate, and the ending is going to be the end of Ninjago. And they have to evacuate somewhere else to kind of like restructure themselves in order to go and fight the Oni and get their land back.
All right.
That's what I think is going to happen. And then they go to a new place. Maybe Zane gets corrupted by like Oni stuff, and so he turns evil. Yada yada yada. Maybe stuff like that. So they're evacuating to Paramagna. Ice Emperor is actually.
Yeah.
Ninja buckles.
I love it. The reason she's saying Zane being evil is because one of the conflicting reports from the Nuremberg Toy Fair has Zane being the Ice Emperor.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that's true or not remains to be seen. But, yeah. I could totally buy that if Pixel dies in his grief, he'll like, go nuts, get corrupted,
Go
or whatever. Yeah, pretty much.
But
so that could be interesting. On the other hand, not to just be... Go on.
I don't want the Oni to be done next episode. We've barely even met them. They're like super overpowered, and I don't think weapons are gonna fight them either. So
I think they will. It shouldn't. Don't get me wrong. I want what you're saying to be true, but I can totally see like Kai shooting his fire from the golden weapon and just like massacring all the Oni. And it will feel incredibly cheap because they'll be defeated by the things they had in the pilots. So realistically, the ninja from the pilots could beat their greatest threat. So,
oh dear Lord.
I hope they don't go that route because, oh boy, you thought I complained about air jutsu. Prepare yourselves if that happens. This will be Mr. E all over again. But if they do what Hayley's saying, it'll be cool. It'll be awesome. I'm totally down for that.
Mm-hmm.
Some new locales would do this show wonders. Like they haven't explored the world at all, just the other realms.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
All right.
What do you think?
Any final thoughts?
Yeah, I thought it was an excellent episode. Thought it was really good. Obviously, there are flaws, but you know what? They are said not with malice in mind, but simply as an observation, as an enthralled viewer. And I mean that...
Exactly.
There's no sarcasm in that whatsoever. So
Good, because I wanted to make that clear earlier. I can imagine if anyone from this, watches, like we know Tommy Anderson at least watches. So you especially, I don't want to offend or sound like I'm being a downer. I really like this season. And if Braggy Shoot or anyone from the production crew ever watches, first of all, thank you. But second, I really don't want you to think that I don't like your program. It's phenomenal. It's a phenomenal story.
yeah.
And we can all agree that.
I am definitely someone who, if I don't like something, I will not entertain my time with it. Like, I'll just drop it completely. So, I am I am a fan of this. I like it. I thought this episode was really good. I'm looking forward to the next one. I'm immensely interested in what's going to happen next time.
Yep.
And I just love the show, and I see little to no flaws because I think the show is amazing as it is. So,
Well,
so
so
y'all
we
are doing
balance
an
each other out
absolutely
nicely.
great. Y'all do an amazing job. So thank you.
Haley
Oh,
sees few
did we
flaws,
talk
and I
about
see
the
few
Michael
positives.
Adam Thwaite thing? Do you want to talk about that briefly?
We did not, but first of all, let me read this comment from Prentice. The Mysteries of Mr. E and the Oni, Why the Oni Trilogy Failed, an essay by Meso.
Oh my gosh.
Coming to a forum near you, maybe very soon. Haley, take it away.
All right. So, based off of Michael Adam Thwaite, voice of Jay, he looked at the Jay poster and Twitter and retweeted it saying, I always loved you, Jay, or something along those lines. And for a lot of people, including me, I was like, that sounds like you're saying goodbye to the character. Let's see if I can find a tweet pretty fast. But so I wrote something that I would think Jay would say to that, which was why does that sound like a farewell? Can someone tell me why that sounds like a farewell? And well, I think you got it. Thank you.
No worries.
I can play the audio.
Did he agree? You want to play the audio? You want to play the audio? Yeah. So
I
not
posted
only
the source.
did he agree with that, he did the voice acting too, and it was perfect and it was amazing. So if you want to play, go ahead and play it.
All right, I will play the audio. This is Michael. I cannot pronounce his last name, so I will not try.
Adam Shui.
Why does that sound like a farewell? Can someone tell me why that sounds like a farewell?
That is exactly how that line would have been delivered.
Not only is that really cool, his beard is amazing.
Oh yeah. He looks like just a wonderful person. Even in his interviews with Brett Miller, he just seems like a really down to earth, great guy. And that completely threw me off on the day that he did that, and I literally can't stop smiling. So thank you. You made my week, and you didn't have to do that, but you did, and it was so great. So
that's like for you what I imagine Greg being on our podcast was for us. It's recognition.
It was writing a line for a ninja and then actually having it said is something on my bucket list that was like too impossible for me to even fathom, and it actually happened. So
and you did it on your own merits. We had nothing to do with it. Well done.
Not that we could have done anything.
Yeah.
We've only talked to
That's exactly what I mean.
we have talked to 2 people on the production staff of this show, and that's that.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much.
So thank you, Michael Adam Thwaite. You are such a wonderful person, and
Please don't
that
leave
was
the show.
So great. So, and that was so well done too. It was right off the hip, and it was so great. So yeah, and it was not a farewell for those who were probably, well, it might have been, but
Princess asks, does it mean Jay's gonna die? I think it's just like he's having fun memeing up the whole like dark posters about like who's gonna die, what's gonna happen. All of the cast and crew are kind of doing that on Twitter, not as personalized as him, but everyone's enjoying the posters and the teases and the general feeling of dread, which is why I'm just waiting for the final episode to see what actress. Landing.
If they give Jay a new voice, I lose all hope in Ninjago.
Yeah.
His voice is one of the things that defines the show.
Yeah, I really loved his Italian accent in the pilot.
Oh my god! He did not. His beats were very Italian. But yeah, his backwards puberty is always great. It's always a great thing. So.
Yep.
But yeah, all the voice actors are. And this show, like, even Lloyd really showed himself up in this episode when he confronted Garmadon. He said that line about life isn't always about surviving. Oh, that was one of
Sam Vincent's best scenes yet.
Oh. And then Zane, I'm happy to tell you that you are wrong.
Yep.
Brett Miller, thank you. Sam Vincent, thank you.
Everybody, thank you.
Everyone. This show was so good because of you. So.
All right.
So,
Eljay, go ahead and send us out.
Okay. Well, that's going to do everything for today. Hopefully you had a good time. Don't forget, we do not link to the sources of these videos, and these are obviously just reviews. We highly encourage all of you to watch the show when it airs. Additionally, watch it on Netflix. Put some numbers that they can be proud of and give them reason to continue having it on platforms and on airwaves. So, make sure you do that, especially when we know there is an official airtime globally instead of just New Zealand. We'll let you know as soon as we do. That'll do. Hopefully you all enjoyed. Hopefully you had a good time. Thank you so much for being here. The dojo is now closing. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. I have been your sensei, Eljay.
I have been Jitsu complainy guy, Meso.
And I have been Ninjago enthusiast, Hayley. I guess
That'll do. That'll do. And this has been Ninjago Cast, Masters of Podjitsu. By now, you should know where to go to follow our stuff. You know, Patreon, Twitter, so on and so forth. Links are in the description below. Once again, thank you all so very much. We will see you all again another time.
for the